Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. I am JD Nero, aka He Who Pods, aka Rearview Mirror.
And I'm Dash, aka Dash MD, aka the real king of R&B.
All right. Well, it's Monday. Let's get to it. Another weeknight, another batch of topics to talk about. So today's Monday. I think it was Thursday or Friday. Mass Appeal started putting up these posts talking about how each of the albums from the Legend Has It series or campaign will be having Marvel collabs vinyl. Marvel collaborative vinyls. And so each of the covers is going to have a comic book look. The vinyl itself is also inscribed on some of them. Some of them yes, some of them no. And they have like the comic book stuff from the comic book that they did with Marvel on the vinyl sleeves or covers. Every album from the series will be done, and so they have different pictures of what they look like. Again, some of the vinyls have more design on the physical vinyl than others. Well, I think actually none of them have it on the vinyl itself. Wait, I might have misspoke. Hold on. Okay, no, they're not on the vinyl itself. They have designs, but it's not the comic book. I misspoke. But they do have like the front and the back of the vinyl. The vinyl sleeve does have comic book designs from the Marvel comics that were done for the Legend Has It series. So like here's the sleeve for Raekwon's album. Here's for here's the Big L one.
Okay.
So they look how
Hard
they
to
looked
see.
in the Legend Has It comic, and so they're doing it for each album. So they all will actually be on
Okay.
pre-sale. They all actually be on pre-orders begin tomorrow, April 28th. So when we're recording this, it's tomorrow. So they're doing pre-orders, and then I don't know. It doesn't say when they go live for the regular orders, but it says that there's more information on the website, the Mass Appeal website. So yeah, I think this is really cool. We already know that they had the comic book. I think it's really, really cool that they're doing this with the vinyl. And I'm impressed again. I got to be honest. I think that this is innovative. I think this is smart. I think this appeals to collectors of multiple things, just like the comic book did. And so I think this is great. I'm excited for Nas. I'm excited for the artists involved. I'm excited for collectors because maybe people don't even want vinyl, but they want this Marvel stuff that's on a vinyl for probably the first time ever, right? And
Yeah.
so maybe now someone who has no interest in vinyl will go scoop up these vinyls simply because it's got comic book stuff on it. Um, or the opposite. Maybe people are going to buy these in abundance because they're fans of the artist or fans of the campaign. I think it's a win-win across the board once again. I'm very excited for this, even though I don't buy vinyl. Um, I think this is a great collector's item. I think this is a great collaboration. I think this is an innovative thing to do.
Yeah, same. I think this is very cool. And like you said, this is going to be great for collectors. So even if you're not someone who is huge into hip hop, I mean, I think it will attract that audience as well. But I feel like this is the type of thing that will touch different audiences, which is really cool because you have the people who are very much into comics and collectibles, and then you've got people who are very much into hip hop, and then those who, kind of do a little bit of both. So, or a lot of both.
Right.
So, I think this is really cool. I'm excited, like you said, for Mass Appeal and for Nas. I think this is great. I'm excited to see that they're extending their collaboration with Marvel because I think it went really well. Last fall, I guess summer into fall was when they started rolling out the Marvel and Mass Appeal comics. So I I love this idea. I think this is cool. I also think that something that It might not be as obvious as just like the intersection between music and art. And I think that's really prevalent here. And that's one of the reasons I love this so much. So I'm not a big comic person, but I do appreciate comic art. So I think this is very cool, and yeah, I'm excited for it. I would buy it. Um,
If I
yeah,
remember
even though,
correctly, it's 7
mhm.
albums.
Yeah,
So
it's 7. It was a total of 7 that they were releasing. Yeah,
yeah,
so it's cool. It's
I
great.
agree. Now let's talk about something that's not so cool, or maybe it
What's
is.
that?
I guess it's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, According to People Magazine, or just People.com, whatever you want to call them today, the headline reads: Brian McKnight sues ex-wife and son over damning claims he refused to tell son Nico he loved him before his death. It says here, Brian McKnight has filed a defamation suit against his ex-wife Julie, son Brian Jr., and more, alleging that they took advantage of his son Nico's death in order to create a, quote, sensational but false narrative that the singer was a, quote unquote, cruel father who abandoned his family. The Grammy nominated singer, 56, filed a lawsuit in Georgia on Tuesday, April 21st, claiming Julie, Brian Jr., and several news outlets and interviewers profited off a tragic family death and committed, quote, malicious character assassination, according to the documents which were obtained by People. It says that McKnight's filing largely focuses on claims made by Julie and Brian Jr. that the singer did not tell his estranged son Nico that he loved him before Nico died of cancer in May of 2025 at the age of 32. Quote, defendant Julie McKnight Jr. asserted that their son repeatedly told plaintiff, I love you, during the call while plaintiff refused to reciprocate, thereby portraying plaintiff as emotionally cruel and indifferent towards his terminally ill son, the filing says. There's a lot of responses to this already. In a statement shared with People, a spokesperson for Julie called the claims, quote, completely unfounded, and she stands firmly in her truth and remains confident that the facts will speak for themselves. Quote, I look forward to my day in court where I will have the opportunity to fully address these allegations, Julie said. I sincerely thank all of my supporters for their continued prayers, encouragement, and unwavering support during this time. Tasha K also said something. Tasha K, who's part of this lawsuit, said in a statement to People, quote, respectfully, the interview with his ex-wife Julie was mischaracterized. I'm a musical fan of Brian McKnight and honestly pray that one day he and his family will be reunited back at one.
She uses online on him.
She did. And the last thing
Okay.
I'll say before we respond to this or share our thoughts is on the podcast that he's on, Mark Lamont Hill did address this. He said he's not being sued. He had no idea about the lawsuit until he was contacted by People for a statement. That what the allegation is that
They wanted to know what Mark Lamont Hill thought.
right, and he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. That's what he said on the pod. He says that he's not being sued, but his lawsuit, but Brian McKnight's lawsuit is saying in the Mark Lamont Hill interview, the son and the ex-wife lied. So he's saying that the platform was used to spread lies, but he's not being sued.
Okay.
That's what Mark Lamont Hill said, not me, for the people listening out there.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, Brian McKnight is saying that they have defamed him.
Yes,
That they
he's
have.
saying it was his ex-wife, his son, the New York Post, and Tasha K. He's saying, I don't know if this is true or not, but it says that Tasha K said something about Brian McKnight. Tasha K, in the interview, brought something up about Brian McKnight sleeping with a minor. And so I guess that's part of it as well. And so he's claiming that he both lost money and opportunities, and his good name was tarnished by those folks during those media campaigns.
I guess the question for me here, and this won't get answered, but just throwing it out there, is okay. I hear you, Brian McKnight. But did these interviews happen before or after you showed your ass to everyone about who you were and where you stood with your children? Because none of us did that. Like, nobody else did that. He did that himself. So right. The law is the law, and if it is found that that there was defamation, then that's that. I don't have a dog in that fight. However, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how this works, but my guess is if he was already showing that he was who he was and he was one way or another, then by the time they do an interview and talk about it, if it's already out there, then is it really defamation?
I guess that's a good question. I guess the answer is, can they pinpoint that it's about what he's saying? Because what he's saying is it has to do with the death of Nico and how he handled it.
Yeah.
Not all the other stuff we all think about. So if he can prove, or him and his team of lawyers can prove, his representation can prove that those things about the interaction or lack thereof with Nico before the passing, if they can prove that he lost opportunities and they defamed his character, then yeah, he would win.
Well, good luck to everyone. I don't really know what to say about this other than I really hope that these people find healing through their family issues. They've now lost their son. It just feels almost gratuitous to me at this point to be, listen, if he's saying he lost wages, then cool. I get it. I understand. But also, I feel like there was such a dark cloud over his familial relationships to begin with before his son passed away that I just hope that everyone involved finds the peace that they are looking for. The way that Brian McKnight has been portrayed in the public eye as it relates to his children over the last several years is not good.
Yeah.
And if everything that has been alleged is true, I hope that having gone through this situation with losing a child, which I know a parent never wants to do, I hope that it makes an impact in a positive way on him and allows him and his son's mom and their whole family to figure it out and heal and move on. Because yeah, to us, like, it's messy and it's a lot of things, but just to imagine having to go through that and then in the midst of all the drama, your son dies, it's just, all of it is nasty to me, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I'm hopeful. I don't have like a whole lot of nice things to say about Brian McKnight, and I'm refraining from saying anything like that because of the circumstances. But I hope, like, whatever place he was in or is in now, I hope he's able to find his way past that. Because children grow up. So the little ones do grow up and see you for exactly who you are eventually.
Yeah.
So be someone that they want to have in their life. You know?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think it's unfortunate that you have to sue your family members. I think it's unfortunate that they are not on a better page. You know, they're not in a better situation with their relationship. Um, Sometimes this happens with families. But I mean, to have to sue your son and your ex-wife, I mean, it's not ideal, right? And so I don't know how much money he lost or how they're going to prove this in court. I That's not really for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's for his team to figure out, his representation to figure out. So as far as the legalities, like I said, that's what they would have to prove, that those interviews and the press surrounding them are what made him lose money. I don't know that you can do that. But again, that's for his team, his representation to do in court. I do hope that his family is able to at least be cordial. Because I can understand that it's hard to come back from certain places because those closest to you can often scar you the deepest. So I get that there's pain on both sides. But you know, I don't think this is a good look for anybody. And I think this arguably could be the reason he loses even more money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pursuing your son is not something that people are going to be excited about.
No.
Like, people are not going to see that and be like, "Oh man, what a guy, what a great dad, what a great guy." And I'm not saying it's not warranted. I don't know. Only him and his deity can
Right.
figure that out later on. But it's just not a good look publicly. And I think there's an argument for this harming his career more than the interviews.
Yeah.
So those are my thoughts on the matter.
Okay. Well, I
Now,
guess from one drama to the next.
that's a good segue. That's better than what I had. All right, so a couple of weeks ago, a movie came out, an A24 production called The Drama, starring Robert Pattinson and Zendaya. Two people that are adored, two people with huge fan bases, and no, they don't have huge fan bases.
They do. I was just thinking to myself. So you didn't say it yet, but you saw the movie, and I have seen it since then as well. And I just kept staring at Robert Pattinson throughout the movie and thinking to myself, this is the guy that they all like.
Damn, I don't have any of my stuff next to me to throw. I guess I'll throw a rubber. Oh, hey, hold on, I got my post-its. Hold on, let me. Delayed reaction, but
This is worse than chiseled white bodies. I just couldn't. I was just like, oh, okay, this is the man. This is the vampire man, right?
that's him.
That's him. Y'all like that? Not you, but I was just like, oh, this is the guy. I mean, I get it about Zendaya, but I was thinking to myself, this is the guy. This is the guy that everybody was fawning over some years back. This is him.
That's him.
Why?
I don't have that answer.
I was just really confused. I said, this can't be the Robert Pattinson they were talking about.
You didn't see the
Y'all
Batman?
like that? Y'all think he's sexy? What'd you say? Didn't see what? No. I don't even know what you're gonna say, but no. Didn't see
he
what?
was he was Batman a
Batman?
couple years ago.
Okay, Batman, yes, but nothing else.
He was
And
the
Batman
Batman.
wears a suit.
But we saw him in there. He was looking real goth. He had like dark makeup and long
Yeah,
hair and
you're right. But also, this is the guy that the girls were like, oh, so dreamy. I thought to myself, listen, I'm not saying the man is not a. No, I am saying that, but I just, I was confused. I was confused. You know what? I'm gonna mind my black business. I'm gonna mind my business. I feel like this is not my ministry. I feel like I'm not supposed to understand. But I kept staring at him throughout the movie, and I said, "Whoa, that's the guy? That can't be the guy, but that's the guy." All right, that's it. Carry on.
well, I guess we are reviewing the drama.
Yeah,
All right. First of all, I'm gonna start with a wild take here.
take it.
The projectile vomiting that was happening, like I didn't need it. I didn't need it. The projectile vomiting where it was like, I just think, there's a lot of just like this, I think,
It was gross.
I'm just like, all right, there's
I
throw
don't
up in
like vomit.
movies, and if you're drunk and crazy shit is happening, you're gonna throw up, cool. But it just was like, no, because I just think, I was
It's
like, what?
nasty. Everybody was vomiting like all the time, and it wasn't good. And then you know what vomit makes me think of?
Vomit.
Like when I see vomit on television or in movies, I think about school, being in school, and people used to vomit in the classroom, and they would pour sawdust on it, and I can smell the sawdust. That's why I don't like to see vomit.
I mean, it's
It
fine. There's
immediately
there's
takes me
vomit in
back to that
movies.
smell.
I get it. There's vomit in movies. Like, I even understand why they were throwing up. But it just was like not the usual vomit. This was like, no, right next to you. Like, no, because I think,
It was
oh,
A24 vomit.
there you go. That was accurate. And this was an A24 movie. Let me tell you something about A24. I like A24. But I
Me too.
told y'all before on this platform, there's two types of A24 fans. There's A24 fans that are like, yes, horror movie. I'm sorry, I misspeak. There's two types of A24 films. There's like, oh, this is a good film and it's horror and I know I'm going to get scary. And then there's another group of A24 films where they're
Mm-hmm.
just going to make shit bizarre. It may not
Mm-hmm.
even make sense. And when you leave the theater, they want you to ask yourself, what did I just watch?
Yeah, that's true. I do like the What Did I Just Watch A24 films. I like those.
This was, what did I just watch?
Mm-hmm. It was.
I was really confused by some of the things in this movie. First of all, I guess I should start by saying it was a good movie. It was a 7. It was cool. I'd even watch it again someday. I'm not in a rush. Like, not tomorrow. But if it was on streaming and I was scrolling, why not? I'd watch it. Why not watch
Mm-hmm.
it again? It wasn't terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But I am a little disappointed in A24 because this movie had the opportunity to be really fucking good. It had the
Mm-hmm.
potential to be really fucking good. And I kept waiting, like, okay, here's the moment. They're going to crank it up and take it to the next level. No, not this moment. Okay, all right, I'll wait. I'll wait. Oh, this is the moment. This is it. They're about to take it to. Hey, no, that's not how
You
you take
didn't
it.
think a mass school event, I'm not saying the word, but you didn't think that a mass school event was enough? Like the talk of that? You didn't think that was cringe enough?
What
I'm
I'm
asking, I'm
saying
not
is,
saying.
what I'm saying is that I think that was a weird as fuck option. But
So strange.
if that's your option, fine. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that throughout the movie, there were
Mm-hmm.
times when I thought they about to make this go from a 7 to a 9, from a 7 to an 8.5, from a
That's
7 to a 10. And
The
that,
movie buff. I thought you were gonna say 2 and 11
nah. You can't get higher than 10. But they never
because of
did.
Spinal Tap.
They never did. Every time I heard you,
Okay.
because of Spinal Tap, that was good. Every time I thought they were gonna crank it up, they didn't. They did some weird shit instead, and I just, it just was unnecessary. Like, and some of the movie was very realistic. Some of the movie was like, okay, we got these rehearsals. We got to be out of here by a certain time. This has to be set up by a certain
Yeah,
time.
that
But then
was
there
all
was,
realistic.
but then there was other stuff that was like, there's no way on God's green earth that this would happen. There's no way that a man would walk all across the wedding hall, all across the venue, while shouting at you and come and headbutt the groom in the face. There's no way that all of the people at this wedding are going to sit idly by and watch this man walk all the way across the room in the large venue to the husband slash groom and headbutt him and nobody just gets involved. There's no way that this happens.
Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's a movie, and so I guess to me it didn't really say much to me in that moment. I do understand where you're coming from. I think just sometimes you watch things and it doesn't all add up, and they take creative license because they can, like it's ridiculous, right? And here we
Yes.
are sitting and saying that A24 does ridiculous pretty well. So I'm actually not shocked that they chose to do that. It's
Yes.
just, yes, I get that it's not realistic, but I
They
think
were,
all of this was very bizarre.
yes, that's what I was about to
Um,
say. Yes. Go ahead, talk to me.
which is why that part of it was okay for me because one, why would you? I get why you would tell your guy, right? Like he's the man you're gonna marry. This is the person you think you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So I totally understand why you would tell him what your secret was. Didn't from the beginning of the movie, I was just like, why would you tell them that? I don't understand. Like, and she went last too. She had so much time to make up a lie or just think of something else.
Yep.
You don't always have to answer the question the way that. How would people know? How would anyone know? And
Right.
I would have let that bitch be the person with the worst secret in the room. Okay, locking a kid in a bathroom and leaving overnight. Ho, is you cool? She would have been. She would have been the person with the worst secret in the room. I would have never repeated that. I also, people may not like what I have to say about Zendaya's character, and maybe I shouldn't say it, but I don't know what they wanted us to feel, right? Because sometimes it's obvious what they want the audience to feel,
Okay.
right? I don't know here what they wanted us to feel about her. I don't know if they wanted us to hate her or feel sorry for her. I did not hate her because I recognized that however she got to the point where she didn't do the thing that she said she was going to do, she didn't do it.
Right.
And she would go on to actually try to do the opposite when it came to what she was going to do.
Right. She became an activist.
Which I think is huge because there's a lot of people who once they got it in their head that they're gonna do something, they go right ahead and do it later if they can't do it now.
Right.
That did not happen. I also think that there were things that happened to her that like blowing off her ear and like I think that there were consequences to her actions that I think she was continuing to pay for as she continued to live her life. She would never hear in that ear again.
Yeah.
So she was also, what was she, 14 or 15 when this was going to happen?
Right.
I'm not saying that it's impossible for her as an adult to have these same thoughts and feelings. Because she could. Adults have these. I mean, we see what happens out in the world today. I just kind of felt like no one really asked the question, like, what was going on with that young girl that made her get to that point? And that, to me, was where I was at.
Okay.
Which, like I said, this may not be popular to other people, me saying this, because it sounds like I'm sympathizing with her. And maybe to some degree I am. But we're talking about a minor who clearly was misguided and lost.
But I think that's the point. I think
And
A24
found her way.
Yeah, I think the point of the character is people are going to be split, and that's what they want. I think the writing showed us that we want people to either feel bad for this person or just not like this person. And I also think at a certain point, those roles changed. Because at a certain point in the movie, everyone hated Zendaya's character. And then later on, people kind of felt really bad for her character. And the opposite was true of Robert Pattinson. At one point, people are like, yo, you gotta leave her. She's terrible. You deserve better. By the end of the movie, everyone's like, you're a complete piece of shit. And let me be honest, he was a complete piece of shit.
He was trash. He was trash.
Absolutely.
He was, and he should have left. And the reason he should have left was because they just shouldn't have, at the end of the day, they just shouldn't be together.
Right.
Because he didn't even see her. I think he didn't see her for, like, what I'm saying, he didn't see about her.
Correct.
In fact, he apologized for her, in a sense, to the friends, but only to make himself look better for staying with her. Yeah. And really, truly being a coward and not knowing how to leave if that's what he wanted to do, or just like deal with the situation. Because I think ultimately he just didn't want to deal. He didn't know what to do. Fair. I wouldn't know what to do either.
Right.
But he also didn't like really want to deal with it. And I mean, was finding all these different ways to help himself cope, including almost cheating or whatever we're calling it.
I don't even know.
So you're right. I do think that there's like this, they create this shift.
Yeah.
Which I was just so frustrated with everybody, because it's just like, do it or don't do it. Be there or don't be there. Like, after a while, it was just like, all right. And then the secretary, or whoever the girl was, low-hanging fruit.
His assistant.
Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, no, girl.
And by then, that was like the fifth bad thing he did. Because he was lying. He pressed the disabled chick. Like, he was doing the most.
Can we talk about the friend, though?
Karen?
The friend.
Super Karen?
Of the disabled girl? Yeah, she was Karen to the nth power. Yeah. And again, she was not without sin. I could not believe that she did what she did, and she was sitting there like, well, what did I... He survived?
Yeah, she was a piece of shit.
I was like, how do you not see that what you did was awful? Like...
Right.
There is a line from the movie My Best Friend's Wedding where Dermot Mulroney, sorry, he says to Julia Roberts' character, can't remember their characters' names right now, but he tells her that she's pond scum. And then he tells her that you're not actually pond scum. In fact, you're the thing that's growing underneath the pond scum.
Oh, I know this scene.
He says it he says it way better than I'm saying it right now. There's
I
more
know this
words.
scene.
And that's what I thought of this lady. Like the thing that's stuck underneath the pond scum is what she was. She was just trash to the nth power. Honestly, she made Zendaya's character look sweet.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, they really did light up the Karen the Karen storyline. I said, all right, well, see what y'all did here. Okay.
They gave us Super Karen.
They did. Oof, I hated her.
Yeah. But a good movie.
I thought it was a good movie too. I liked it.
I just felt like A24 did their A24 thing, and they didn't have to.
Yeah.
This could have been a good movie if they didn't do some of those things. Excuse me, it could have been a better movie if they didn't do those things and did some other things instead. Because it really had the potential. It had all the pieces. And then they took a sharp left like they like to do at A24.
Yeah. And I still, even after watching it, even after thinking that it was a pretty good film, I still, at the end of the day, don't know how I feel about, I'm indifferent about using that plot twist.
Of what she did?
About this mass event that
it was a weird choice.
It's like, and I know it got some backlash, understandably so.
Right.
I know things that I've said here today might get backlash, understandably so. People feel very strongly about this topic and should.
You could always projectile vomit on them.
I'm not gonna do that. But thank you for the suggestion. But yeah, I don't know that I care for the choice. Like, I don't think that it I think that they could have inserted a bunch of different things instead, and it would still have the same effect. So yeah, it was a choice, for sure.
Yeah,
and it's fine. Like, I wasn't offended by the choice, but the choice is one that is truly offensive to a lot of people, and I,
of course, yeah,
totally understand that as well. But yeah, so
also that ending,
I was just like, all right.
And why could the deaf girl hear everything? I'm not even going to get into the deep dive of that. But for a deaf person, she heard way too well.
She heard a lot. She did.
I was like, this was not done well.
Yeah, you explained some things to me off pod about that, where I was like, oh yeah, they missed the mark there. They should have.
Yeah, if you know anyone who's deaf, if you know anyone who's deaf, you know, and I know it was one ear. Even people who are deaf in one ear, I know a couple of them, and that was a really bad portrayal of someone who's deaf in one ear.
It was. I used to work with someone who was deaf in one ear. He would make jokes about it. It would make me uncomfortable. Because you know what, like, you could have your jokes, but I can't have your jokes. And I'm just like, right. But he always used to say, Dion, you're on the wrong side, or stuff like that. So, who is Dion? We don't even know who that is. But he would say, you know, you're on the wrong side, or you know, things like that. And yeah, she was fine. Like, no matter how the conversation was being had. A good example of it is at the morning after the night where the secrets are revealed, and they're in their living room, and they're away from each other. They're not. They gotta be like five. There's gotta be like 3 to 5 feet between them. There's no way that she would have been able to hear him well,
right?
If she was deaf in one ear and then didn't have a hearing aid.
And she wasn't even sitting, like, they did it in 1 or 2 scenes, but most of the scenes she's sitting straight. She should have been sitting
Yeah.
like to the side where the ear was good, so she could
Yeah.
like not necessarily look at you so much as hear you from the good ear. So it kind of like on a diagonal. It was
Hmm.
just weird. I just was like, this was not. They
Yeah,
missed
they
it.
missed
They
they
missed the
missed
mark
the
on
mark.
that one.
Yeah. They took advantage of the fact that there's probably a lot of people who wouldn't catch it.
Yeah, true.
But I don't like that. I feel like be thorough about stuff like that. I think that's details
Yeah,
are important.
yeah.
Anyway.
But both of them got another successful movie under their belts. So I'm happy for both of the young lads. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, good for them. And y'all really like that man? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Weeknights. And
Thank you for
we'll
being
see
here.
you tomorrow. Oh, sorry. That's why I shouldn't take your job.
Sir, you did it. We out. See you tomorrow.
Bye.